Hello Internet, it's Mike here from Autistic After 40. Now, you might have seen recently there's been a bit of a trend filling in a new monotropism questionnaire. Now, this questionnaire has been developed based on some new, groundbreaking, but it's brand new research into monotropism from some monotropism researchers. We'll be using a web-based form here, which has been developed by a web developer, which is using the exact same questions and the same scoring. If you're interested in the topic of monotropism, please see my first video on this channel and we'll get started. Let's go. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. I find a problem I can't solve distressing and or hard to put down. Depends on the problem. I mean, it's not obviously a social problem because it says I can't solve and or hard to put down. So I'm going to guess this is talking about like logical things and you're working on something. I'm a software developer, have been for 20 years. I'm going to say strongly agree on that one because that is kind of a personality trait of a lot of software devs. We work really hard on logical problems and it can be really frustrating if you can't fix it. And part of that frustration could be because you're working on something perhaps for a client, or perhaps you're working on some, hang on a second, I'm sorry, cat. This is Sabre. And Sabre is a pain in my butt. So I find a problem I can't solve distressing and or hard to put down. I'm going to say strongly agree. I sometimes focus on an incident for a substantial time, days, after the event. I'm going to say agree on that one. I think it's like sometimes you're perhaps having a conversation with someone, you say something stupid. I say you, I'm talking in third person, but I'm basically talking about myself. I'll end up saying something really, really stupid, and I'll think, oh, I didn't represent myself well, and I'll be thinking about it for a while after the event. Definitely agree. I often loop back to previous thoughts, as per the previous one. I rarely find myself getting stuck in loops of thought. Rarely find myself getting stuck in loops of thought. I get stuck in loops of thought all the time. So I guess that's a strong disagree, right? I tend to feel quite self-conscious unless I'm deeply absorbed in a task. Agree. So when you're really focused on something, then you're kind of not really thinking about, oh, this might be what other people are thinking about me. That kind of goes away, right? Because you are focused on a specific thing. I rarely find social situations chaotic. I strongly disagree. Like I suppose if it's like a one-on-one and you're meeting up a friend or something, and that's not really that chaotic for me, really. But anything beyond that can be, and if you're meeting up with someone and it's in like a really, really busy environment, that can be quite chaotic. When I'm interested in a topic, I like to learn everything I can about that topic. Yep, and that's been a hallmark of my life, actually. I was really into astronomy in my early 20s, and that took me all the way. I got to meet Patrick Moore. It was brilliant, having lunch with him and chatting about stuff. I created an astronomy podcast with a friend, which we did like 2 episodes a week, and really just got really engrossed into that topic. And I suppose you could say that I'm now really, really engrossed in kind of renewable energy, electric vehicles, that sort of stuff. I have my other YouTube channels. I produce videos about, electric cars, electric car reviews and things. And I just want to know everything about them. So, I mean, that's not right, is it? That's not typical. Strongly agree. I'm often totally focused on activities I'm passionate about to the point I'm unaware of other events. Yep. So if I'm really working on something, I've got no idea what's going on. Sometimes I'll like stop and look up at the time and it'll be like 5 o'clock at night in the afternoon. And then I'll start working again and I'll look back up again and it'll be like 2 a.m. Like absolutely. In fact, sometimes those other events can include things like drinking enough and going to the bathroom as well. Same thing. Sometimes making a decision is so hard I get physically stuck. Yeah. So I don't like having to make decisions on the cuff, and it takes me a while to get around to those decisions. This is not me telling you dear friends, that I am really slow at processing. I suppose it is slow at processing, but it's not that I'm slow. It's just that sometimes making a decision can be really difficult, and that can involve, even sometimes if I'm sitting with Nina and we're watching Netflix and we're picking a show, I just can't pick a show. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? With a gun to my head, I'll just press whatever it was. But it's just the case you just can't, make a decision. Is it the right decision? Have I picked the right one? Will I regret watching that thing? Will I prefer watching something else? Yeah. People tell me I get fixated on things all the time. Nearly every conversation I have with people, they're talking about how you're absorbed with that thing. You should be a little bit more varied. It is something people say to me a lot. After a period of instability, I need a quiet and predictable environment, and you're in it. Dear friends, this is my quiet and predictable environment. When I'm interested in something, I tend to be passionate about it. Absolutely. Marine sciences as well. Diving, I'm incredibly passionate about it. I co-founded with Wildlife Trust. I'm one of the lead volunteers on a seagrass project, helping to identify and locate and restore the native seagrasses around the place where I live. And it's so important for biodiversity, it's so important for climate change, it's important for all kinds of stuff. I would say yes. I find sudden, unexpected disruptions to my attention startling. Yeah, if you watch my first video, I give a few examples of this. It can feel like you're stretching and then someone gives you a push and you hurt your muscle, or it can feel like just being ripped out of your attention. It's called the attention tunnel, and it's something that I do a lot, and I know other autistic people do as well. And of course, this, like I say, is not a diagnostic tool, but you'll find that you get holistic people that also have, monotropic tendencies. This is not, hey, you're autistic, if at the end of it goes, ooh, you are, or perhaps you're not. Like I say, if you met one autistic person, you met one autistic person. We're all different. I mean, I used to go to Sunday school, and I remember, they used to say like, oh, you're a unique, special sunbeam. And it's like, well, actually, you're just kind of like a package of traits when you start unpacking it. It can be a little bit, not unique. Okay. I often get stuck thinking about all of the possibilities that might come out of a decision. I'm going to just say agree on that one, because I do get stuck thinking and planning and deciding and trying to figure out what will happen. But at some point, you do kind of have to move on. You can do this paralysis analysis thing, or analysis paralysis, where you're constantly trying to figure everything out to the point where you don't actually get anything done. I do have methods for stopping this tendency, which I can discuss in other videos. I am still fascinated by many of the things I was interested in when I was much younger. Yeah, so things like space, astronomy, that was fascinating to me. I remember watching this movie Space Camp as a kid, and I watched that literally 200, 300, 400 times, just over and over and over again. Got super absorbed by it. Things like marine stuff. I used to watch a lot of David Attenborough, kind of also under the sea, kind of marine documentaries with my mum. We used to just sit there and watch these things. It was something we did a lot. And I'm still super fascinated in that, to the point of kind of contributing footage to marine documentaries of my own. So I'm super, super thrilled. Like as an adult, you can kind of do the thing that you saw. I'm not working for Blue Planet, and if you're watching this, Blue Planet people, please, can I send you my CV? That'd be great, thank you. I often find engaging in stimming, example, fidgeting, rocking, to be relaxing. Yeah, that's kind of like, it's a weird thing to say. I don't like the words stimming. It's more self-soothing, I suppose, or sort of self-regulating behaviours. So right now you can't see it, but I'm rocking my leg, and that's what I do all the time. I'm constantly leg bouncing. Something Nina says to me every day is, stop fidgeting, stop wiggling your feet, wiggling your legs. And of course, when you're at school, this is a major problem, because in school you're expected to be still, sitting down in a perfect sort of L shape, hunched over, you're paying attention and stuff. And that to me takes up so much energy to sort of put myself in that position. It feels like acting. I mean, I'm an actor in Mike's body, and I have to sort of pretend to be like that. That takes up like 90% of my processing. I can barely have time to think about what the teacher is saying. It is a problem in that regard. But, as these kind of more overt sort of stims, if you will, kind of get punished out of you, I'm going to use that word advisedly there, then you learn as an adult to sort of stealth stim. I mean, one of the things I do is, when I'm talking, I'm sort of wibbling my foot now, and I'm doing this with my foot. I don't know if you can see it, but... So I mean stealth stims. And then I sort of do this with my hands as well. I sort of do this a lot, sort of count my fingers, kind of put a bit of pressure on them. And you could say that's sort of eccentric behaviours, but it's not, right? It's a way of getting rid of some sort of nervous energy, might be a good way to think about that. So I can sit, I can talk, I can do this. I can stand up on a stage and give a presentation on all sorts of things to random people, but I will be pacing that stage. Some people say, oh, what you said was great, but I find it hard to follow you because you're moving about a lot. It's that sort of thing, right? Stimming, I think, is a weird word. It feels a bit infantile, maybe, is the word I'm looking for. But yeah, we'll call it stimming on this channel, an autistic channel. Do you feel me as well, stimming? Okay. I sometimes become highly anxious by focusing on the many possible situations that might occur at a future event. I sometimes become highly anxious, okay, by focusing on the many possible situations that might occur at a future event. Yeah. I'm going to put agree because I think strongly agree is hard. I find this question difficult because we've got two kind of qualifiers here. We've got I sometimes, okay, so is that like rarely, is that often? Okay, it happens that I become highly anxious thinking about future events. Yeah, that's true, but is that not true for everyone? We'll see. When there is a lot of information to consider, I often struggle to make a decision. Yeah. Although I do have kind of like tricked myself. I've got ways of working, systems that I use to help myself be effective. But I'll put strongly agree on that one. It's a bit like one we answered before. I sort of answered agree. Routines provide an important source of stability and safety. Of course. Who wouldn't want to know? Who wouldn't want to have, like... I know it's an autistic thing. I know I just clicked there. Strongly agree, meaning super autistic. But no, we'll just move on. I find it strange to engage in a task of no interest to me, even if it's important. All my school reports, and I do mean not all, but like nearly all of them, are all like, if he's interested in this thing, he will do well, he will focus, he will achieve really well, get really good grades. If he's not interested, he won't. Yeah, my interests, I have to be interested in it to do it. I'm interested in this channel, I'm interested in this topic, I'm interested in this community, so that I'm here. But if I wasn't, then I wouldn't be. I'm interested in electric vehicles. I posted a review of one yesterday that Garau had lent me. I've done a few this year. I'm super interested in that, so I'm in that space. Computer science topics as well, technology, marine stuff. It sounds ADHD-ish, doesn't it? Like hopping from one to another. And there is a bit of a crossover there, but I have to be interested to be in it. And that sounds like a cop-out, but that's just reflected history of a life lived as an undiagnosed autistic person. That is what it is. That's what teachers have said. That's what tutors have said. That's just it. It's like that at university as well, even in computer science, and you're doing something which is just not that interesting. I often engage in activities I am passionate about to escape from anxiety. Yeah. Sometimes it's really hard to, if you're feeling that sort of anxiety rising, that sort of level of stress. I have said in the previous videos that living as an autistic person is like having you've got this like level of stress. And perhaps like for an holistic or non-autistic person, it's kind of like here. But then for an autistic person, it's kind of like here. You're just living at this high level of stress. You've constantly got this level of anxiety. I'm not talking about social anxiety here, really. I mean, I sort of am a bit because, it has been said that Tony Attwood, for example, has quoted, I'm not sure it's his quote or it might be from someone else, that when you're assessing autistic people and they're on their own, right, they're in this sort of environment, they're perfectly capable, you can't really pick up on the traits so much. There's no sort of, but he was, thinking in terms of disadvantages, right, deficits, yeah. There's no deficits when you're on your own. So a lot of that stuff kind of comes to the fore around people. So I'd say a lot of it is a social experience, right? There's a communication disorder, right? I often experience anxiety over matters I have little certainty for. Over. I read it wrong. I often experience anxiety over matters I have little certainty over. Yeah, it's true. When I go on business trips, I really quite like an itinerary. I hate just this sort of, all right, we're going to spend a day doing, like, what exactly? Tell me. And part of that, is that, I'm a vegan, so I eat plant-based food. So I will take my own stuff. Like, for example, this. Not sponsored, by the way, but it's great. This is what I have, like, for most of my morning lunchy stuff. So if I'm going to like an event or something, I want to pack a few of these bottles or bars or powders or something like that and make protein shakes. And I kind of want to know where I'm at, where I'm going. So you've kind of got that sort of thing. It's hard to explain. But any other plant-based people out there, let me know. Like, is you kind of like worried about like the menu? Maybe it's really hard to explain. I mean, just give me chips. I'll just eat chips. Like, really, or pasta, right? Easy. Sometimes when I'm focused on activity, I do not recall all the information I might need to make good decisions. Okay, these questions are tough now because kind of using like multiple things. Sometimes, okay, when I'm focused on activity, I do not recall all the information I might need. I actually don't fully comprehend that question. I'm focused on this activity right now, and I'm not recalling all the information I might need. I don't know, maybe I missed something. Maybe I haven't turned a light on. Maybe my microphone's not on. Maybe I'm not thinking about what I need to do. I mean, it's possible, right? I mean, it sort of depends. When I'm here in my safe space, and there's no people around, literally not a soul for like 300 meters around, like really fortunate in that regard. And just animals, 15 cats, 3 dogs, chickens, peacocks, I can just sit outside. I can concentrate on what I'm doing. But then if I'm somewhere else, it's context sensitive. It's completely because, I can be in the supermarket and completely not buy what I went in there for. That happens all the time. So I'm putting it in the middle. I often find it difficult to switch topics after engaging in an activity for a long time. Yeah, mildly. It's true. I mean, it's kind of hard to like switch back as well. So if I'm doing something like editing YouTube videos, I'm really focused on it, that flow state thing. And then what happens is, I get distracted or I get disturbed. I go and do something else. And then sometimes it's hard to switch. Sometimes if I'm doing one thing, it's hard to do something else. Like I have a small business, so doing like bookkeeping and then switching over to doing a different activity, it can be a bit difficult. So I prefer to allocate my time in blocks and I know what's coming up. When I'm working from something, I'm open to helpful suggestions. Sometimes. Nina said, hey, why don't you do that video sitting here by like a fire? Okay, cool. But generally speaking, I'm not really. I don't really like people like telling me like, oh, sorry, I just picked the wrong one. Telling me what to do or whatever. So I'm going to put like in the middle. I don't mind if someone interrupts me when I'm in the middle. Strong no. Strong nope. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope, nope. Hell nope. See video 1. That's all I'm going to say. Often when I'm focused on activities, I do not notice I need the bathroom. Yeah, so this is a topic or a feeling sensation called interoception, which is about sort of those feelings inside your body. I'm not great at this. I'm a bit clumsy. I bump into a wall or a door or something, get a bruise. I won't even notice. I end up with bruises and scratches and cuts. I don't even know where I got them from. But most importantly, and I mentioned it earlier, is I forget to drink in the middle of the day, or I will like not know I need to go to the bathroom until it's urgent, and I'm like, oh shit, I need to pee. This can be a problem if I'm out and about. Like if I go to a restaurant with friends or whatever, I'll make sure I go to the bathroom at like set times. Like, all right, okay, so now we're going to have like starters or something. All right, I'll quickly pop to the bathroom, and then I know I'm not going to have like, oh shit, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you now. Bye, I'm off to the bathroom. I'll be right back. So that doesn't happen so much. When I'm diving and I dive in a dry suit, and it's possible to use nappies or P valve to urinate when you're diving, long dives, decompression and whatnot. But I know, look, I'm putting my dry suit on, now's the time, have a quick wee, and then, do the dive. So it's like I'll go to the toilet when I don't need to go to the toilet to avoid having to rush there when it's urgent. That's not like a medical sort of, is it medical? It's kind of like, it's just an interoception thing. It's a difference. It's something to know. It's nice to have a label, which I didn't have, to put on it, right? Involvement in activity of interest often reduces my anxiety level. 100%. I manage uncertainty by creating routines. I'm going to just say agree there. It's not like a strong agree and it's not like a full agree. It's kind of like, it's neither in the middle. Because like when uncertainty, right? It's hard to explain, but routines, I don't like the word. It's like stimming. So the word routines sort of suggests to me that we are doing all right, you set like 9 a.m. you're doing this, and then 10, 11. I don't, I'm quite happy to be flexible. If I'm on holiday, I'll have flexible days. I won't do stuff, all the time. But it's, or like know what, like these itineraries. That's not what I'm trying to explain. It's like you have certain routines, certain ways of doing things. So you'll do one thing and then you'll do another thing. Sometimes in the morning, if I'm working on my work, I'll do like one routine and then I'll stop to another and then up to another. It's hard to explain, but I will get onto it, I promise. I often notice other details, others do not, 100%. Something that I enjoy doing is sea search diving, where we go diving and we look for creatures, we look for species, we look for plants, we look for all kinds of stuff. And we note it down on forms and we submit those to marine databases. And I find that I'm really happy to spend a lot of time in a really small area, just a few meters squared, studying this area for species. And some of my buddies would quite like to have a good old swim around and look for seals. And I'm kind of the opposite, although I do like seals too. My ideal dive would be most of that and then a seal at the end. That'd be perfect. I often engage in lengthy discussions on topics I find interesting, even though my conversational partners do not. This is known as monologuing, and I do it all the time. I usually mean what I say and no more than that. Yeah. I don't say things that have got this implied meaning, and this is something that I find really challenging when dealing with other humans. Hello, other humans. Because people don't mean what they say. There is some implicit hidden meaning. There's the spoken, there's the word level, and then there's the of like psychological level. And that psychological level is a mystery to me, and I struggle to deal with it. Sometimes I accidentally say something others find offensive and rude when focused on a task. Yeah, because the polite engine is not running when I'm using all of my brain to do something, particularly if I'm coding or working on something that requires a lot of attention. If I'm working on like software development for a client, that is usually sometime when I turn off stuff like interoception, the feeling that I might need to go to the bathroom, just off. Okay. The politeness, yeah, that's gone. That went out the window. Speech, even, unless it's swearing repeatedly. I'm able to fully focus my mind to a task. There's the advantage there. I can sometimes be very distressed by a topic that others think of as trivial. Yep. So, it's hard to come up with examples off the top of my head right now. But yeah, a lot of the time throughout life, I've noticed people saying things to me like, why are you so upset about that? Like, why does that bother you so much? I have trouble filtering out sounds when I'm not doing something I'm focused on. Yeah. But, it's a matter of dealing with these things, right? So noise cancelling headphones are great. Working in a quiet spot, fantastic. Accommodations at work. If you have a workplace that's a bit busy, you can accommodate that somehow, screens, headphones. I find it easy to keep up with group discussions when everyone is speaking. Nope. Can't do it. In a group, though, I tend to find I'm talking to one person at a time and everyone else is just an unwelcome distraction. And I might change, it might be a conversation with someone else, but it won't be this like multi-group thing. Often when I'm focused on activities, I do not notice I'm hungry or thirsty. Yeah, I'll put an agree there. I mean, a strong agree, actually, probably. I often struggle to concentrate in busy and or unpredictable environments. Help, strong agree. This is all getting strong agrees. I rarely find simultaneously holding eye contact and making... I rarely find that simultaneously holding eye contact, like, you know, I don't know, is it too much? Like, the eye contact thing, some people make too much eye contact. My dad makes too much eye contact and I hate it. It annoys me. Sorry, Dad, if you're watching this, but you know this, right? And I'm like, Dad, you're staring at people. Stop it. So, like, it's not like, I have to avoid people. I'm so coy and shy. It's not like that at all. I rarely find simultaneously holding eye contact and making a verbal conversation with another person uncomfortable. Yeah, because if I'm thinking I don't want to distract myself, if it was socially acceptable to, I'd just close my eyes and talk to them. That would work better for me. I am usually passionate about a few topics at any one time in my life. Yeah, but what's a few? Like, I've described them earlier. Would you say that was strongly agree? I'll put agree because, I don't know. I tend to do activities because I find them interesting instead of due to societal expectations. Yep. I mean, this is the working day. It's 1 p.m. on a Tuesday. Yeah. Sorry. See, I just checked the date. It's 1 p.m. on a Tuesday. This is when most people are working. I think making videos about autism is more interesting. Therefore, I'm going to do that. There isn't a stronger agree than strongly agree. I need a quiet and predictable environment for me to switch from one task to another easily. Yeah, but I mean, switching tasks is a problem, but I manage it, like I say. Predictable, I suppose. I often lose sense of time when engaging in activities I'm passionate about. Yeah. I get quite good at something even when I'm not... Oh, I'm clicking too fast. I can get quite good at something even if I'm not especially interested in it. I can get quite good at something if I'm not especially interested in it. Don't know. I don't think I would ever get to that point. It's distressing to be unexpectedly pulled away. Yeah, 100%. Video 1, monotropism. I find social interactions more comfortable if communicating about a topic of interest to me. Yes. I sometimes avoid talking because I cannot reliably predict how others will react, especially strangers. I'm going to say agree. Because I do try, but I am a bit of a chatterbox, and then I'll end up on a topic that I'm interested in. So there we go. I mean, if you want to talk to me about the autistic experience, late diagnosis, blah, 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 I'm all ears. Probably all words as well. Submit. As a reminder, this is an assessment for monotropism. As a reminder, this is an assessment for monotropism, a trait sometimes associated with autism, not autism directly. If you score high, please be sure to do further research into monotropism. More information can be found at monotropism.org. Monotropism score. It's 216 out of 235. This score suggests you are more monotropic than about 91% of autistic people and about 100% of holistic people based on data from the initial validation study. Ooh, how's that looking? There we go. More monotropic than 91% of autistic people. Okay. Going to read the study at some point, but I really just wanted to get this video out because it's super interesting. Lots of people are doing this survey. Try to answer the questions as honestly as I can. Please let me know. Have you done this particular questionnaire? The link is in the description below. What were your scores, and do you think that it's right? Do you think that reflects who you are? I think I am pretty monotropic. It's a great way to explain how I feel. It's why that was my first video. That's not a coincidence. I really wanted to talk about monotropism. But does that work for you as well? please let me know in the comments below. There will be a usual video on Sunday too, so please subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. Just really wanted to get this out, sort of midweek. A midweek video sounds quite cool, right? I mean, I think a midweek video, should I do 2 videos a week? Let me know, comments below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you incredibly much. I appreciate this super long video. I mean, what is it? Maybe about half an hour? So thanks for following along with me for so long. I really do honestly appreciate it. If there's something you'd like me to talk about, please let me know. I'm happy to talk about pretty much all topics. I don't think I have any taboos, so just let me know. Description below. Thank you again. I really appreciate your time. Your time's super precious, and thank you so much for spending it with me. It's been lovely spending time with you today, so thank you very much for watching. I can't thank you enough, really. Thanks. Bye.